So we're going to be going to Tiwanaku and Pumapunku in June 2015, the 19th to the 29th of June. Andrew Collins, myself, and resident expert there, Brian Forrester. So please join us if you can. We're going to be really searching through the landscape, through the ancient sites, to see if we can find these links with Göbekli Tepe, with Egypt, and a whole global kind of ancient civilization that must have existed in Peru, Bolivia, and all over the world. So we hope you can join us.
We'll see you there.
There's one book we really wanted to look at here, isn't it?
Yeah.
This one here.
It says here, it's an imprint of an Arthur Poznański book. I won't pronounce it because my German's not too good. Ein prehistorisch Metropol in Südamerika. Basically, obviously, a prehistoric city in South America. I mean, you know, there's all your favourites from Tiwanaku there. I mean, obviously, you know, the statue. What do they call that? What's it called?
That's one of the Viracocha tiki statues.
That's not El Fraile, is it? That's one of the other ones, isn't it?
That's actually interesting condition, because obviously it's worn down a bit.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. But I mean, what's most interesting is the fact that there's got incredible series of skulls that were obviously measured and examined by Arthur Poznański and found at Tiwanaku, and a large majority of them are elongated, and they look really, really weird, some of them. I mean, all different shapes as well. That's the interesting thing. I mean, quite clearly, if these were all artificially deformed, you'd find some kind of uniformity between them, but there just isn't. You know, I mean, obviously the shapes of that's slightly different to that. I mean, most of these have the sutures here, which is missing on the Paracas skulls itself, but you can find examples in here where the suture lines do seem to have disappeared. Perhaps here, perhaps that example, although you might say that that's actually fused completely and disappeared, but there are some. Now, that's how it should look. But there are definitely ones in here which we can find somewhere where they are completely missing. Let's find them. I mean, some of these are just extraordinary looking. I
mean, is that a giant head, a normal sized face, or what is that?
Well, it's the product of elongation, because obviously that's its side view, and that's its front view, and because it's obviously been either artificially or naturally elongated, it's given this strange profile when viewed from the front.
Looks like he's got an extra tooth there as well. Like
well, yes, supernumerary teeth are something that is intriguing to the whole thing. Now, here's an example where it's elongated, just like Paracas skulls. I mean, the shape, the absolutely shape of the front profile looks a little bit odd, but here you can see there is no suture lines. What these lines here are is actually where it's been sawn. That's not the suture itself, and it's been put back together. There's even a little clip that they've got that actually clip them back together. So I mean, this is just absolutely fascinating stuff. And I mean, clearly, I mean, look at this. I mean, I just love this image. I just think it's such a powerful image. I mean, it's sort of like the meeting between this ancient, strange culture, possibly connected with a lost civilization, and this mechanistic measuring device around it. You know, it's like the front cover of some weird gothic album, basically. And again, things like this, just great. You know, I mean, you just don't see these things anymore because what they call physical anthropology, you know, fell out of popularity after the Second World War and the Holocaust, and even more so in the 1960s with you know, apartheid so you just don't see this sort of stuff anymore.
It's very heavy on the back, isn't it? You get that in some of the skulls in North America.
I know. And so, and then obviously you've just got different jaws and things like this. But I mean, look at that. That's seemingly I presume, where they've cut one in half.
It's the brain matter.
And that's the brain matter. I mean, that's just an incredible image as well. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, whether they're indicating that this person was killed through being smashed on the head by that particular artifact. I think that's what they're suggesting. You know, perhaps a sacrifice. But also what the book contains. I mean, there's lots of different pullouts and things like that, but is that the images of I mean, this is just of how it looked before the reconstructions, and this is the, I presume, the Kalasasaya area. Yes, indeed it is. And you've got all these megaliths still standing, but the walls are just not there.
No, they're just being added.
Now,
yeah.
Obviously the walls that we've got today have been added, but how original they actually were, I don't know. But when you look at these places, it's quite clear that you're dealing with much more obvious megalithic complexes.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a resemblance between what you would see here and Göbekli Tepe.
Mm.
You know, the idea that the standing stones have what appear to be, you know, much smaller stone walls. You know, whether they're dry stone or what, I'm not sure. They probably are. Here at Tiwanaku, and you got exactly the same at Göbekli Tepe. See here. You know, and I mean, I'm not saying therefore they're part of the same culture or that they're even from the same age, but there's a great resemblance here. I mean, obviously these are excavations presumably that were done by Poznański.
This is the Akapana pyramid, and it doesn't have water in it anymore, but they completely looted that and dug it out, and then it was excavated.
Right. And if we just move forward here, there's more here. I mean, the images of these statues here are just odd. I mean, just look at the faces of these individuals. To me, they don't look like the local people that occupy the area of you know, La Paz today. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but these look much more sort of well, to me there's a sense of almost Polynesian or perhaps Indonesian. These guys also look a little Indian.
You get a very similar statue to this on Easter Island as well, which is the same sort of sitting position, kneeling position.
But to me, these don't seem to be the, you know, representative of the population that exists in Peru and Bolivia today. And if we look here, I mean, we'll come to that one in a minute, but here we have a stone carving which, if it was found at Göbekli Tepe, would not look out of place.
Yeah, that's right. There's a couple we can look at there when we go there next June. There's a few pieces that are like,
you know,
whoa.
I mean,
and you get this at Silastani as well.
Yeah. Again, here we've got here. I mean, I've never been here, so I can't say exactly whereabouts that is.
That's Tiwanaku. That's just around one of the edges of
you know,
the main.
I mean, look how you know, machine-like finished these are.
Beautiful, isn't it? And then you have these precision carved.
You know, I mean, Poznański saw different periods of activity. The oldest of which he believed went back at least 15,000 BC. He was criticised greatly at the time of writing this, and I can't remember exactly when it came out, but I think it was it 30s, something like that. And he then withdrew back. This is 1914, Berlin 1914. He actually withdrew his earlier statements and dropped it to about 10,000 BC, which is still obviously old enough, but you know, because he was criticised so much. But what I want to see is more evidence of dating to a much earlier period at Tiwanaku. I mean, at the moment, the only real evidence of the fact that the Kalasasaya, for instance, at Tiwanaku is of great antiquity is its alignment towards the summer solstice, because that is clearly what it's looking at as far as the alignment is concerned. However, it does so in an age that does not reflect the current dates of Tiwanaku, which is a maximum of a couple of thousand years ago. It reflects a date of around 10,000 BC. So in other words, it suggests that there was a monument on that site that was aligned to the summer solstice around 10,000 BC. But that's it. What we need is further evidence of dating from excavations that show that there was high culture existing here, and perhaps linked with these incredible elongated skulls, and that, I think, would help us greatly understand why Göbekli Tepe resembles so closely to Tiwanaku.